Hello everybody, this is DeanoGTO, and today we're going to be looking at some more world tanks, this time in the WZ-111 Model 1-4, which I'm going to call WZ-4 for convenience purposes for the rest of the video, because, well, saying WZ-4 is a lot easier than saying that mouthful of a name. So, just going to start off this video by saying huge thanks to everybody who came over from Aging Jedi's channel. And huge thanks to him actually giving me a shout out in his video on my IS4 game. That was my, I think that's probably the best game ever. I think my previous best game ever was in the ST1, about 3 years ago now. I've had games that have rivaled it, don't get me wrong, but that one's always been the one that stuck in my head. But that IS4 game just finally surpassed it, and it's actually stuck in my head now. It's like my game to surpass, if that makes sense. So yeah, huge thanks to everybody who came over. Huge head in the Skoda T50. You didn't have to come over, but seriously, genuine thanks for coming over. Looking at my channel, thinking that it has potential to be a good channel that you might be interested in watching in the future. I'm kind of honored by that there. I didn't really expect people to actually have any interest in it, because, well, people have a tendency, whenever they see a lower subscriber count YouTube channel, to just kind of dismiss it and just go, it's probably crap. But just genuine, serious, thanks for that there. Thanks for taking a look at it and deciding to actually to subscribe to it and see what I come up with in the future. So yeah, now let's focus on the actual gameplay. So I'm in WZ-111 Model 1-4, one of the top 5 Tier 9 heavy tanks in the game. Honestly, it's on the same tier as the E75, T10. What's the other one I usually put up there with the T10 and the E75? I would put the VKB up there as well. There's another one that I really like. What was it? SD1, that's it. Those are the top 5, roughly, Tier 9 heavy tanks in the game right now. M103 I think I consider to be one of the worst. Conqueror I still can see being an extremely powerful vehicle. That turret, in comparison to the M103, just gonna pause here for a second. Just go over my feelings on the M103 versus the Conqueror. The Conqueror gets a vastly superior turret, but a worse hull. The M103 gets a better hull, but the worst turret. And I can guarantee it's the worst turret because it has an overmatch area on the actual roof of the turret, and it has a huge ass cupola as well. So if you miss the overmatch area, you have the cupola head as well. So it's damn near impossible to miss that thing's turret. And if it angles its turret at all, you're going to paint it every single day of the week, because it's just that weak sidearm wise. And then when you go look at the Conqueror's turret's pretty much immune to damage in comparison. So it's just okay, guess why not? And then when you look at the hulls, the M103's hull is technically better, but it's still shit. I don't understand the balancing on the M103, because it gets a worse gun. It's slower. It has a better. It doesn't have a better part away ratio. Thinking about it, holy crap! What the hell advantage does the M103 have? I mean, it also felt like it got critical damage all the time. And with the old artillery model, prior to the stunning mechanic and all, that thing would get one shot by artillery every single time somebody shot. I felt like 1 in 5 games with artillery, you were going to be one shot before you got a shot off. It happened to me numerous times where I'd be driving towards the spot I was heading to in the map. Artillery would I would be spotted by a light tank or something on my way over, and artillery would get a shot with a HE round into the side of my turret and penetrate, kill me in one shot. Because the armor on that tank is shit. I hate the M103. The M103 is one of the tanks, they buffed it whenever they redid the HD model, but it's still not a great machine. Tanks like the T10, tanks like this one, and tanks like that VKB, just that guy is now feeling the hate because, well, he kind of just gave me his little front plate as a free shot, and I can't took it. Well, who wouldn't? It is only 170mm now in comparison to being 200mm like it was in the past, so I was relatively confident I could penetrate that. Honestly, here I'm not entirely sure why I shot the FV instead of shooting the T10. I think I was thinking maybe get rid of the rate of fire tank first, but then I think I misjudged the T10's reload, and I think I misjudged the T10's reload here again. But yeah, in a head-to-head fight, it's pretty much a 50-50 between the WZ and the T10. T10 overall is probably the more versatile machine because it's got the faster reload, it's got the overall stronger turret, it's got the overall stronger front hull armor, although it does have a bigger lower front plate. And I would say in terms of side armor, they're pretty much equal. Both of them have decent side armor, but not the greatest in the world. So they're very, very comparable vehicles, except the T10 trades alpha damage for rate of fire, and this thing definitely goes for the alpha damage. The WZ-111, the 490 alpha, this thing can do per shot. I have seen this thing roll for over 600, and it actually seems to do that. I wouldn't say often, but getting over 550 damage is something you do see decently often. But seeing a 600 roll happen, you're just like, whoa! That's like a low roll for a BL10, and you're just like that kind of alpha damage just is on another level. It's just like, it's unbelievably satisfying to fire this gun. It was the same kind of story for the T10 because that thing, if you don't know, has the IS Forge gun, and I love the IS Forge gun. This thing here also has a great gun. It's basically the IS-7's gun, but I feel like it's less random than the IS-7's gun because this thing has less armor. Even though it's a tier lower, I think the gun handling stats may be a tiny bit better. I don't feel like this gun's as random as the IS-7's gun was. The IS-7 would just miss a point blank range for no apparent reason, whereas this thing's gun does seem to be a little bit more consistent in comparison. Plus this thing also feels more mobile to me. I don't know what it is. Even though it only has a 580 horsepower engine with mine currently right now, because I haven't actually unlocked the top engine yet, because I don't feel like it's worth it. And this is the stupid thing I do in this game. I don't know why, but I hesitate for about 10 seconds, just not pulling the trigger. I could have pulled the trigger, got an extra 490 alpha out of this game, because I knew that was going to be my last shot of the game if I had taken it. But instead of taking it, I hesitated and didn't get the extra damage. I don't know why I did that. It was dumb, really dumb thing I did there. But yeah. At the very end, I platoon with the T10 because, well, free brothers in arms, and who's not going to take a free brothers in arms? So, yeah, the WZ-111 Model 1.4. Why am I talking about it? Well, the WZ-5A, it's called WZ-111 5A. The original Tier 10 Chinese heavy tank is coming to the game soon in 9.19.1. As a Tech Tree tank, a lot of people were theorizing it was going to be a Clan Wars tank, and that would have been incredibly annoying because the WZ-5A seems like a fantastic vehicle from what I've seen of the stats. Although, quick warning, if you go and search the stats on the WZ-5A, I strongly recommend that you take the gun depression stat with a grain of salt. It says 10 degrees of gun depression with 130mm gun. I don't see that being a thing in the game. Like, that's like maybe 7 degrees, maybe 6 degrees, 10 degrees. No, that's not happening. I just do not see that happening in a million years. 10 degrees with a 490 alpha gun. That's too much. But yeah, that thing looks like it's going to be a really solid tank. It's going to have the engine power of the T10 with the lightweight nature of the WZ-111 Model 1.4. Even though this thing here is actually a bigger tank, I think, than the T10, it's actually about 6 or 7 tons lighter than the T10. So it's really kind of weird in that regard. If you want to know what this thing's like in terms of weight wise, or in terms of its overall weight, it's about 5 or 6 tons lighter than a Centurion 7.1 from memory off the top of my head. And it's also pretty much, I think there's like a 200 kilogram difference. It's pretty much exactly the same weight as a Crown Wagon. And you might be looking at that going like, oh yeah, but this thing's surely slower than the Crown Wagon because, well, it has worse part to weight ratio because the Crown Wagon is like I believe like a 700 horsepower engine. I don't think that's the case purely because the terrain resistances on this thing here are definitely better than the Crown Wagon. As far as I've seen, the Crown Wagon does not seem to be that fast of a tank. It seems to be kind of medium speed, like a medium. It seems like more IS-7 speed than it seems like this thing speed. Like the IS-7, I remember being more sluggish than you'd expect from a tank with that kind of part of weight ratio and a 1050 horsepower engine in a, I believe, 70-ton tank. You expect it to be a bit faster, but it didn't feel particularly quick to me. But yeah, I really like this tank. It's a really, really solid vehicle, and honestly, I would say the only flaw with this thing's line is the 110. The 110 is the one tank I would say brace yourself for, because I was going to review that thing a couple patches ago. I think it was 9.17.1 when I actually finished that thing's grind. and I couldn't do a review on it because I kept just getting too frustrated with the goddamn tank. Like, I mean, to give you an idea of like the 110s, my grind with the 110, I had my highest ever crew skill, T-rate, T-rate heavy tank crew in that tank. I had three crew skills. The third skill was on, I believe, 98% completed, and the gun handling on that tank was still atrocious. It felt like it just missed at point blank range for no goddamn reason. The aim time feels far worse than the IS-3s from memory. It even feels worse than the. It felt worse than the MX-5100, for God's sake. It just missed for no apparent reason. Like, the accuracy stats are misleading on that tank. The actual soft stats on it are horrific. It just misses constantly. Whereas this gun here, all you need to do is hit one shot and you do 490 alpha. Whereas with the 110, you had to hit shots consistently. It wasn't an alpha damage based vehicle. This thing is an alpha damage based vehicle, so it's easier to do well in this thing here with a more RNG dependent gun than it is with a faster rate of fire gun. That doesn't sound like it makes sense because you would imagine the faster rate of fire would mean you would have more of a chance of hitting the tanks. But a lot of the times in war tanks, you're only going to get one shot. You're not going to be able to sit and just use your rate of fire to like DPM a target down. A lot of the time, you're just not going to have the opportunity. So a lot of the time, it is actually better to have the higher alpha, slower rate of fire tank. That's honestly for a long time why I loved the 100 and the Jagdpanzer 100, but as time went on, the Jagdpanzer 100 and E100 kind of lost favor to me. Lost favor for me because the Jagdpanzer too big, too slow, couldn't turn to save its life at all. And the E100, when they nerfed the size of the mantlet on that tank, I just decided nah, and just kind of got rid of it after that point there. So yeah, I've kind of completely got sidetracked. So I'm actually going to go on to the post-game stats here now. Okay, so this game was only with the first class, and I didn't only get a Brothers in Arms is the only medal I really got in that game, but it was still 1,264 base XP, which is still pretty solid, 4,070 damage, still over double the HP of my tank. 10 shots fired, 9 direct hits, 10 shots fired, 10 direct hits, 9 penetrations, 4,070 damage total, 1,221 damage caused with my assistance. And because because we won, and because I came top of the team, because I got a lot of XP, I actually made 18,000 credits on that game. So, unlike with tier 10s, you still can make profits reliably with tier 9s. Tier 10s, it's incredibly random whether or not you make profit or not. If you take too much damage in a game, no matter how much damage you do, sometimes you'll still lose money, because, well, that's just what tier 10s are like. And that's the way their economy is set up. But yeah, overall, I feel like the WZ-111 1.4 is probably one of the best tanks no one really plays. It's a really fast. It's got speed, it's got the armor, and it's got the firepower. The armor, granted, is probably the weakest of those three areas, because the mobility is really solid and the firepower is really solid. And the armor is probably the only like iffy part of that there, but the armor is still pretty solid. With HD, I definitely think this thing's armor got better overall, because I think the lower plate prior to HD was only 80mm thick. Yeah, I'm pretty confident that's true. So 80mm lower plate on a tier 9 heavy tank. You can imagine how well that really worked. So yeah, this thing overall definitely a really good tank, and I would say it's probably going to be a keeper for a lot of people, because that 490 alpha damage is really addictive, and well, it's easy to see why, because, well, this is where I get into like one of the amazing facts with this tank for me. I have only ever platooned, like you saw in this game here, at the very end of the game, where I will either help somebody get a mission, or I will get like a medal of some sort. I have a 58% win rate in this thing. And I'm doing that reliably over 200 games. I have a 58% win rate. I actually went up to 59% for a while. I only went back down again when I was playing it constantly. But yeah, that's a number, and that's a significant sample of games played. And don't forget, I think the first maybe 120 games were played with this tank without the top gun. So yeah, this thing, don't underestimate it. It's incredibly powerful. It's a lot of fun to play as well. It's one of the tier 9s I've enjoyed most playing through, and I'm kind of happy that there's another tier 10 being added to the game that comes off of this tank, because it's kind of like the T-54 of the Chinese line, as in it's so good you just want to keep playing it. So yeah, just want to finish this off by saying thanks again to everybody who came over to my channel, and thanks again to Agent Jedi for actually featuring my channel in his video, and for featuring my replay, which is, as I said, the best game I've ever had in War of the Tanks. So yeah, so thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.